on to my discussion of Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. Firstly, I want to say that this is a great title. This is not just a great title because it sounds interesting and because on the surface you're like, oh, I know how that fits in with the story, but when you get to the moment where you really understand how it fits a story, you're like, you genius publishers. It not only fits to people who don't know the story, but once you know the story, it fits even better. I found that this book was engaging, that it was pretty original, that it was very compelling. I will continue on with this series, and it had a kind of a Western fantasy feel to it, with the fantasy, instead of being kind of a traditional medieval Europe fantasy, being more of a Middle Eastern Sultan Aladdin style Arabia fantasy. So the fusion of Western and fantasy took me a few chapters to really adjust to. Once I adjusted to that, I just ate this book up. I read it one day. I was just like, I also was like, really didn't leave the house for a little bit of day. I felt like Amani's story was one that I really enjoyed once I got into it. Alwyn Hamilton creates a world with Middle Eastern inspired magic and ethos that is fascinating to uncover and carries the first 2/3 of the book when the end game and goal is uncertain. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. When you're reading this book, you don't really know what the end game or goal is till like 2/3 of the way in. For me, that wasn't a problem because I was very engaged in the world that was being built and in the kind of myths that were being, not myths, in the stories of the land that were being revealed to us. But for other people, that could be a problem, so heads up. Some of the motivation for a budding romance that was occurring in the book was pretty flat or non-existent, but I didn't feel like that budding romance was really a main point of the book, and therefore it didn't bother me as much that it had a very weak foundation. And I'm excited to see kind of where it goes, and I'm hoping they stick together because I just chose to like them together, even though I don't really have justification for them being together. Whatever. The overall motivation of our protagonist, though, is largely found apart from romantic entanglement, and so kind of the foundation that she's building things on is more stable and interesting. I felt that this book whetted my appetite for this world and its magic enough that I will gladly pick up its sequel. I'm pretty excited that it's going to be part of a trilogy, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next. So Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton, I would personally recommend it. Let me know down below if you have read this book or are thinking about reading it and what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching. Bye.